Alright, should be live, and as per usual, I need to pull up my chat here. Which, of course, YouTube has to fight me on again. There we go, got it now. Alright, so, same as last time, I'm going to cover what the general plan is. I actually have my notes pulled up, by the way, as well. Well, I had them pulled up. They're still available. They're just... everything's falling apart. There they are. Alright. So, the level cap I was working with for the next major leg is level 55. Nothing higher than 55 was the goal. So right now, the party layout as planned is these three are going to be the main goal for taking on the Dragon Titan, which should put me in a fairly decent spot. However, I don't remember how difficult of a fight it was. The other three here, the back three, are riding along purely for the experience gaining. I'm really hoping I don't have to rely on any of them in the actual fight. I would love to bring my salty tears along just because of the more balanced defense build. However, I don't think this is going to work well for either of the goal points today. The next portion is going to be these three as the front runners with some more build up in the back end for versatility. And then that's going to be putting us in that end game territory where I really need to put together a proper solid game plan going forward. I would like to use all of these five as the bulk of the build, and we'll have to play around with what other options we have to go off of. I really need something for a grass type, and we only have these two right now. However, we have one more catch we can make, and it is a place where we can get some grass viability. We can look at what we have there, and I need to remember that even if I see something I really want, for the purpose of the Nuzlocke build, I need a solid grass type. Neither of these are particularly bad, but I really need something to hit home with the special attack build, because we are so physical heavy, with exception to Nibbler and Woolly. And as far as grass types go, if I need to rely on a physical attack, I can throw Dem out, but we're going to have to adjust the move pool, because right now they're all special attack moves. But there's an option here. But I don't have anything for grass special attack, and I think that's going to be something I need to rely on. I was really hoping to find the evolution stone needed to evolve Misdreavus, because honestly, this would have been a solid one for the final leg for the Team Star Fighting Gym. I even put a move pool up that I rather liked for that build. Unfortunately, I couldn't get one, so Rocky fell off on the intended goal going forward for that. Hey Richard, welcome to the stream. How are things going? How's your weekend treating you? Hopefully all things are good. Oh, by the way, you had mentioned on Twitter that you had that plumbing issue. Was your neighbor able to come by, and does it seem to be resolved yet? Or are you still kind of trying to deal with that? Anyways, yeah, I'm just going through my game plan right now, because this is it. This is the entire setup for the end game, with the exception of one catch that I get to make that might be the game changer for the end game portion. Either way, the amount of training I will have to do between this session and next session is going to be massive, because what I have listed for my end game plan is I just list starting point lower to mid 60s. Good luck. So that's all I have listed on my notes. So although that might put me in a decent spot for dealing with the Elite Four. The Elite Four is the big one. I think that's why I upped it to like the mid 60s, because that is a gauntlet fight, and I seem to recall, unlike other Elite Four challenges, that one doesn't give you much opportunity for healing in between. I seem to recall that that was an actual gauntlet match, as it should be, but I have to prepare and plan for that, so I'm going to be aiming for the mid-60s. However, the post-game stuff, I remember that the gym battle primarily, not the gym battle, the big twist ending that I'm still not going to say directly what it is, in case we have somebody stopping in who has yet to play the games. Unlikely, but is possible, therefore going to give the benefit of the doubt. I remember those were kind of challenging, especially if I'm trying to consider a Nuzlocke run where I can't heal from faint. Like, if they go down, they go down. So that's what I'm building around and planning towards. I also got some new outfit duds, went all in on the blue run. I'll be honest, what I found were, I found the shoes, and I was like, yo, I'm really digging those shoes, and everything was built around the shoes. Anyways, Dem, welcome to the stream. How are things going on the, I'm pretty certain your classes are more or less wrapped up, with exception to possibly a couple of things here and there, but how is the student lifestyle doing for you right now? The neighbor didn't come by. We think we figured out what the real issue was, though, which might not have been what we thought, which hopefully you can fix yourselves really cheap. Well, here's hoping, because having to pay for proper plumbers to come out, man, that ain't cheap. Gonna grab these gimme ghoul coins while we're here. Or coin, singular. I really want to be on that lucky receiving end and get a whole massive dump of those gimme ghoul coins at some point. Because I am late in the game to try and farm. What is it? You need like, do you need 1,000? Is that what it is? Or is it 999? Point is, you need a lot. And you can only farm so many at any given point of the day. I know porn would have you thinking it's really easy to get a plumber. No. Porn does not make it imply that it's easy to get a plumber. It implies that it's easy to pay a plumber. By the way, I have yet to meet a plumber who will accept that payment. Instead, they're always like, yo, here's a bill for a couple $100, and apparently my goods ain't worth. Holy cow, what's happening to the game? Wow, it was falling apart there. Anyways, yeah, apparently my goods are not worth that amount. Just trying to keep my eye out on the wild Pokemon here. I am surprised, given the viability of finding shinies in Scarlet at least, how much harder it's been for me to get my hands on one in the Violet run. Alright, let us set the destination so we know where we're going. And the party's all laid out. Obviously, I could do a little bit of finagling for the move pool. However, I mostly am concerned about the team raid and the Elite Four, which will be coming later on. So I want to save what I have for TMs and all that for the last major run, because everything's gonna have to be set in place at that point. Obviously, if I take some heavy losses, it might cause me to have to reevaluate and replan. But and that would be the worst case scenario, because I'd probably have to end that stream early and completely reset up for anything. But realistically, we have a solidly... Ooh. Okay, yeah, for some reason I was trying to remember. I think there's like more yellow in them if they're shiny. For some reason I saw that and I thought it caught my eye. I was wrong, but it had caught my eye. Alright, got some notes here before we push forward. Oof, I haven't felt great since last Saturday, so I'm trying to stay sober for a while. Got like 4 more classes to go and an assignment due by Friday, and then I'm done for 3 weeks. Well, those 3 weeks ought to be good fun. As far as not feeling well, I'm sorry to hear that. If you think the alcohol had something to do with it, that's probably a great thing to stay away from for a while. I'd also suggest, if you're willing to take the advice of someone who's been there before, a little bit of Gatorade to help with the absorption process of regular water. So what I would say is, if you pick up a couple bottles of Gatorade, I would say, like the zero sugar stuff, grab some of that, and then regular water, and make sure you're well hydrated for a few days. I quite often end up feeling that way. I felt that way yesterday, and I think my night of St. Patrick's Day had something to do with that. And that has been my go-to, as I was drinking a lot of electrolyte drinks and water. So, and 24 hours of that really helped perk me back up. You want me to clean your pipes? Well, first I'd like to clean your pipes. Always gotta go with the gruff when you're talking about the plumber stereotype. Unless you're talking Mario. And then you're talking about a plumber with a doctorate, so. Alright, I can't remember which one it is, so I'm just gonna fight this red one. Which I guess was a good guess, maybe? Alright. What is the rule of avalanche? Okay, so if they outspeed me, it's more damage. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm fairly certain a lot of my ice types are very... Oh, boy! Are very, slow. That ain't good. Yeah, let's swap over to unit. I was not expecting the immediate yo you missed. Alright, that's gonna be special. Okay, lowering attack. I'm worried about special attacks because... Wait, what? What just... Why? What does Memento do? Is that just a suicide? Is that like a different version of self-destruct? Alright. Physical, power 85, accuracy 90. I don't know how Avalanche missed. It's an accuracy 100, but okay, whatever. Man. Honestly, given our speed, I think Avalanche is the better move because it doubles the power if we're hit. So as much as I like Icicle Crash, I don't think that's going to be one we... I might consider that on Willy because I think he's a little bit faster, but Avalanche is what we're sticking with. What are you doing, Step Plumber? Oh my god, that would be a funny crossover. Just so a couple of friends and I have in the past considered like the idea of just ridiculously stupid porn setups. I realize this is something that sane people normally wouldn't joke about amongst their friends. But we can't. But the idea is like just cross-referencing as many dumb genres into one master fail as you can, and yeah, just cross-referencing stuff like that is kind of funny when you think about it. Obviously, you don't need to get into the dirty details, just the setup. Going home on the 31st, and I'll finally get to see the... Oh, you get to see them puppos! I remember you sharing me pictures. They are adorable. Oh, and your mother's got a new flat, so you get to have some new space, which also usually means some nice, clean, refreshing air, especially amongst family members. So you get that that little bit of mental reprieve. But I mean them puppos. I heard from my brother that there's a new move that works like self-destruct, so it's possible. I haven't seen that move yet. I actually think I have a Pokemon that when I read it, it reminded me of it, but I saw that it reduced your HP, and I was like, yo, that's terrible for a Nuzlocke build. Unless you have an absolute tanky unit. That's also why you would avoid moves like Takedown and so on. Lowers both attacks by 2 stages. I don't know what move you're referencing that lowers attacks by 2 stages, because that last one, the Pokemon just like straight up nuked itself. I somehow missed my attack completely, and it was just like, yo, but health, what is that though? Is it... You're kind of in the water, is it you? Yo, I built this plan around ice? Ice ain't mean shit. Whoops. This is not as I planned. I thought, yo, dragon, that means ice good, right? Apparently ice bad. Right, yeah, it hurts, but we get one good shot off. There we go. And I just have to heal up between each fight until I find the magical fish guru. Which, although that kind of sucks, it's not the end of the world because we do get a lot of opportunity for experience. And boy, I stocked up on healing items, so we're pretty solid on a lot of that. Alright. Was it you? I don't know, but I like the idea of Titana as a call. I love this setup and swap. I just wish they gave it a different name than the False Dragon Titan, just to really let the concept land home with a little bit more confidence. Memento, Pokemon faints and lowers attack. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, so it makes me very weak and vulnerable, and I'm very weak and vulnerable right now. Okay. Realistically, I have no plans for Free Willy post this fight. Losing Free Willy here isn't the end of the world, so I'm gonna flip this coin, but our health shows that we should be, unless it's a high roll, should be solid. Right, okay, we made it through. So I can heal up, get a shot, and heal up. The Super Soaker strategy will work here. That was my only concern is, can I make the Super Stroke... God, I'm having a Super Stroke is what I'm having. The Super Soaker strategy. Alright. Keep that avalanche going. I don't want to do any... What's the word I'm looking for? I don't need to do any deviations from this. I might maybe consider the body slam approach. See if we can get lucky with a... That kind of hurts. I think we can slap ourselves once off of this if we end up doing it. And you know what? We do have an answer for this. Pop a full restore. Might seem like a little bit of a waste of one, but honestly, our numbers matter right now. However many Pokemon we can really hold through to the end game really determines how many attempts at certain things we get. Right, I'll take the confusion. I think we can slap ourselves once. Gonna maintain the avalanche strategy. Yep, okay, but we can hit ourselves once. Which, frankly, if I'm willing to roll the dice, full restores are so expensive, whereas I can buy a lot more max potions. So I'm going to keep swapping over with the max potions. Hey Ash, welcome to the stream. How have things been for you? It's been a little bit. Hopefully things are going well. And by the way, last you had stopped in. Oh boy, that hurt. Last you had stopped in, you had mentioned that you were. I think I can get by on a hyper here. That you were also doing your own Nuzlocke. I believe you were doing. Man, it wasn't Sword and Shield at the time, was it? It might have been. It might have been. I might be misremembering. But I'm curious how that went, where you landed on the attempt. We're still making our way through this one, and I made some mistakes in my planning on how I thought I would get to fight this false dragon. We're doing the job, like we're getting it done. It's just, this is not the way I anticipated things to go. Yes, okay, you were doing one. You're on your 5th attempt. I have 2 deaths and no gym badges. 2 deaths at no gym badges is kind of a rough start. However, if you have some solid power sticking behind, it's not like you're out of the game yet. Man, honestly, the body slam isn't too bad of a. Oh boy. Okay, Willie, let's get you out of there. So far, other than the water pulse, we're seeing a lot of physical moves. So Unit could come in and kind of do some good work. Let's try this swap and see how bad it goes. But anyways, Ash, how have things been for you in the interim? Man, that's such a harsh move to get slapped with. Alright, the leftovers are a pretty good way to eat some of that damage. Let's see what this looks like here. The body slam is nothing. Oh, but the avalanche is so much better on Unit. Alright, realistically, I don't want to take another one of those when we're low on numbers, so let's toss out a hyper potion. Since we're in the late game, and I do have some money in my pocket at the moment, hyper potions are nothing to fear using. The big thing I need to hold on to is my more expensive potions, my full heals. Or full restores, whatever they're called. Score Bunny, I love your name. Score Bunny named Hot Cocoa, that's just a fun one. Rookie D, the Batman, fair enough. Oh, the name Rose for Eevee is really good. And even for the evolution, there's 3 ways you can take that and make it very fitting. You can obviously stick with the full Eevee path, which is a very fun path in my opinion, but kind of hard to justify on a Nuzlocke. But would be an option, especially if you're after the stab bonus for some physical moves. But then you could do the Sylveon. The name Rose for a Sylveon is very fitting, and finally Leafeon, also very fitting names for those evolutionary paths. It's the Gmax Eevee, yeah. So you might keep it where it's at for the same type attack bonus, especially for the Gmax form that you can use in the gym runs. Butterfree named Laugh, and Electric named French Toast. Yo, that reminds me of an old joke of using electric type Pokemon as generators for home appliances. Alright, so that went pretty rough, but it could have gone much worse. Let's run through some super potions. Again, they're just kind of taking up space in my inventory in comparison to other more consistently usable items in the immediate necessity. Same thing with these base potions. Alright, so where is the next section? Is it over? Yeah, okay, it's one island over. And if I remember right, it's on the right side. I think I circled the whole island the first time I looked for it. Need to keep playing my Pearl Nuzlocke. Yo, okay, I walked right into that. Need to keep playing my Pearl Nuzlocke. We did the full, the Diamond and Pearl remake. We did a Nuzlocke run on that. But, man, Cynthia in the end game, I know it's, like, famous how hard she is for Nuzlocke runs, but, man, it ain't no joke. The scale difference between the Cynthia fight and literally the rest of the Elite Four is a comical jump difference. Like, nobody else even compares on the Elite Four run. Alright, Free Willy's still up front. We'll see what happens here. We have minimal build-up. And like I said, if I'm going to lose someone in this fight, realistically, Free Willy's not the end of the world. Also, this is an interesting one to have, yeah, the setups the way that they are. Now, I can't remember. Is Arven in the fight back-to-back? Because you have two fights here. God, the avalanche means nothing. Alright, slap it with a full body slam, because that actually worked out a lot better than last time. And we'll see what the power-up does for the Donzo. Dondozo? I think Dondozo. Right. Not as big of a change as I feared. Ooh, and the physical defense going down is huge for us. Out of curiosity, Dem, if you are doing a Pearl Nuzlocke, are you doing the OG Pearl or are you doing the remakes that came out on Switch? Oh, that hurt. We were able to get the paralysis off, so maybe we stick in with this and we see if we can't get a few more slaps out of it. You are doing the remakes, alright. I gotta say, I really appreciate the updates to the underground system. For whatever reason, it's 50-50 for me. It's more fun in some ways and less fun in other ways. And I think what might have really factored in on that was the lack of time I spent in it, whereas I spent so much time in it the first time through playing the original ones of that generation. Alright, so yeah, Free Willy is sitting in for a little while longer. Seems like it was actually not a bad call on my part. I was kind of feeling worried about it, but at this point, it's working out for the best. I can't remember. I'm sorry, I took a drink there. I can't remember what it took to have it evolve. But if we're able to make it to that point, then it becomes a lot more useful. The stat increase there is going to be a lot more important. Now we have the real fight. The real battle begins now! Alright, gonna stick with the body slam. Once we can manage to get the paralysis run off, yo, that's worlds different. Yeah, that's worlds different. That's god-awful different. How did we both miss so poorly? Alright. That's a possible dumb decision. Let me check here. 110, 91. Okay, huge defense increases overall. So the health loss might not matter as much. I really only need to rattle off Snowscape because we get to take off a shot first. And then I think we can refuel our free hit again. So if I can get Snowscape and one run of the Freeze Dry off, and then swap into Unit to just wait it out, I think we can get some huge gains here. Alright, let's roll those dice. Let's hope for the best here. Also, I finished that book I was reading yesterday. I didn't hate it, but there were way too many problems, and not just typos. I have no idea. I'm glad that wasn't me! Arvin, thank you! Yeah, go for it. Does taunt mean I have to use... Okay, so then what move? I didn't use one. Oh, I think it means I have to use a damaging move. That's a big entry move right there. Okay, are we still... Okay, we're still under the effect of the taunt, so it's not a one-turn thing. Okay, but hear me out. It's justified now because we're in a uniquely beneficial position, having frozen the Tatsugiri. So, with the book having issues, I'm curious what the non-typos were, because I was reading over some of them on Twitter, and I'll be honest, I loved when you were sharing them, because I was having a lot of fun intentionally misinterpreting them. Hey, Shift, welcome to the stream. Just, you managed to walk in at a very beneficial time in this Titan fight, because I went from sweating it to being in a much better position as soon as it managed to get frozen. You should Nuzlocke Shield. I don't think I've done a Sword and Shield Nuzlocke. Did I? No, I don't think I did. I know we did Diamond and Pearl. I know we did another one. I don't think it was Sword or Shield, though. And then we did one for Legends Arceus as well. Oh, boy! Not that it mattered. That damage was intimidating, though. Anyways, Shift, if you are still here, how is your weekend going? Hopefully well. Alright, I gotta go back and read some more of these chats here, though. Dem. Current team is Cleffa, which is an adorable one to run off of. Staravia, very useful. Crobat, longtime favorite. Again, if you watch through the Diamond and Pearl Nuzlocke, you'll see that I had a very emotional loss around that lineup. Meditite, Kricketune, and Bronzor. Again, Bronzor as the once it evolves, very useful for the for having it be your tank. Only 2 real backups of Machop again. Referencing my Nuzlocke, Machop, as it evolves into Machoke, was an underrated, by me, underappreciated, absolute cornerstone of my party until the end game, and I realized just how good Machoke even is, even without the evolution into Machamp. And a B-Barrel, again, a Pokemon that I have underappreciated for far too long. Also, the author is controversial because she bought 5,000 copies of her own book to get it into the bestseller list unfairly. Oh, man. I understand why that's looked down on so negatively, as it should be. That is a scummy thing to do. However, I think there is a misunderstanding to just how many people do things like that. And then we'll turn around and be like, hey, I'm giving you a copy of my book, giving you a copy of my book, sending copies out everywhere, again, to artificially inflate the sales numbers at first. It's scummy, but I think it's under recognized just how many people do that, and just how many of them do that on political backings even. At which point, now that it's out there and it's in the hands of a number of people, if they can get on a couple of shows and talk about it here and there, all of a sudden the sales numbers jump and jump and jump and jump and jump. You do one scummy tactic on top of other scummy tactics, and eventually you reach a point where the actual value of the book gets, in my opinion at least, gets muddied, and people do it for the monetary gain, and I understand that. I'm not saying people aren't going to be looking for the money things, but I think it undervalues the actual value of what the written piece should be. But that's just a me thing, my interpretation of it. Some things were stated 3 sentences in a row without building on it at all. Yo, sometimes, man, repetition, it's a valuable tool. Maybe they really wanted that line to be in your brain. Again, I'm immediately just like, yo, but how to misinterpret to the strongest interpretation that I can. The main character is a Mary Sue. Man, for some stories it works, but you're talking about an extreme minority. The entire genre of the isekai in anime is largely built around that characterization. And for some people it works, for some people it doesn't, for most people it doesn't. But it can be a thing that people ride on. I agree with you, I'm not a fan of it, but there's a reason people write it. Some people like it. Main character describes stuff that happened while she was unconscious. Yeah, unless you give a viable reason for that to happen, it's not very good to rely on that. For example, if you're writing a story where a character is unconscious in a hospital, but they are left aware of things going on in the room around them, then you might actually be able to tell those events as long as they are happening in the room or within the vicinity of which that can be picked up on. What I think is an even better way to do this, if anybody ever is like looking for a really creative way to do this, is take events that happen. So if your character is unconscious in a hospital bed, for example. Oh, hold up. We got an important scene here. You did your best, bud. Big Rough. Come on. I know you make it and I don't even care. God, he's so adorable. This scene is an absolute punch in the gut, but the kind that leaves you feeling warm afterwards. Just petting Koraidon, or is it Miraidon? I don't even remember. Just petting him like, yeah, don't eat that sandwich, buddy. Let him be. But anyways, what I was going to say is a great way to do that approach is to have events play out. Like write down what you want to directly play out separately than what you put in your story, and come up with a really twisted, the kind of event that could only happen in a dream. Like wrongfully play out the scenario, but keep the thematics of what you want delivered in there. there are some very interesting short stories and short films that play off of this. Let me see if I can look one up right here. Please, just give me a moment here. I'm trying to verify my information here. Yeah, so if you look up the film Skinamarink, this is a great example of what I'm talking about, where the entire story, if you really dissect what happens, does tell you the story, but it is done in such a way that it is not. It's literally done in an interpretation of a dreamlike state from minimal information gathered from the unconscious person. And like how a brain would try to piece things together when left to its own devices without greater awareness or cognitive thought. It's a great opportunity to tell a story in a way that you normally wouldn't. But then, if you really need to, later on, have a character analyzing their own story after they maybe wake up from it to piece it together directly. But it's a really cool artistic thing to do if you do it well. But just being like, oh, hey, they're unconscious and they know what so-and-so did 4 countries away on the other side of the world because they just get to have that information. That's not the way to do it. Also, it basically ends on they lived happily ever after, or do they? Which, even if you like the ending, and, okay, you did, is just an annoying note to end on. I don't mind an open-ended story, but I hate when it's left open-ended in, like, the cheesy gimmick way. Like again, as delivered, the just end bit of, or do they? But when it's told in such a way that it's like, you can assume they went on and lived a decent life going forward, but it's implied that there's a theoretical more story that could be told. That works out fairly well for me, because that means that the story we were given in its totality is concise and sufficient of its own self-sustained happening. But it leads to the option that, hey, if something does, if enough people do enjoy it, or you get inspired to continue, you do leave enough of an entryway to build on your story as well. Wasn't Sword and Shield one of the worst stories? Sword and Shield, in my mind, was not an enjoyable experience because, in my opinion, it would have been totally fine if it was toned down on the side characters, but it really builds up a story that kind of makes me think, as I play through it, I just can't help but sit there and be like, yo, but I really wish I was taking the champion story instead. They make it seem like, and I can't even remember his name, the champion of Sword and Shield, who's like the champion of champions. His entire running through of the game is just so much more interesting than anything the player goes on, and that's kind of a missed opportunity in my opinion. I don't know if I'd say that it was one of the worst stories, but at the very least, it was not as enjoyable as many others. I thought I had a battle with Barry as I tried to leave the town, and it's about 20 steps earlier, and now I'm fighting with a bad team layout. And you no longer have Cleffa, who is one shot. Well, given the team layout you had mentioned, Cleffa is not the worst one to lose out there. Losing Staravia or Crobat would have been far worse. Again, I'm thinking from the mentality of doing my own Nuzlocke. Losing Staravia and Crobat would have been worse. They both have a lot of good flying attack options, so eventually, if you get a decent team running, you might end up swapping towards one or the other. However, they also have secondary move pools that are very viable. Poison, very useful in a Nuzlocke, especially with a Bronzong. If you can get a Toxic off, swap into Bronzong, and just stall them out until the Toxic does its work, is very viable. And then, of course, Staravia as Staraptor gets some fighting moves, which are very nice as well. And you can even do a third type coverage with, like, Steel Wing. So there are ways to justify keeping both of them, and they are both powerhouses in the end game. But yeah, losing Cleffa, losing anything is never not gonna elicit a reaction. Because even if it's not something you're building a team up around with the intention of, it is a utility situation that you lose. It's a one and done. They die. Alright, there was a viable reason given. I assume this is in reference to the story you were mentioning earlier. There was a viable reason given, but it was just weird to read that she knew what went on while she was unconscious. Plus, it kind of ruins the will she be okay because of it being told in first person and her saying it happened before she... Yeah, okay, yeah. As soon as you spoil whether or not they wake up... Because here's the other thing. If you tell information through a character's understanding and interpretation, and then make it like... I'm trying to think... If you're familiar with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, there is a character in Part 3 that gets information and literally is unable to deliver it directly. I'm not going to say too much into it because of the spoilers, but they leave just enough hints in the limited capacity that they have to do anything. And it really is a great way to have someone have inside information, pass on that information without having to rely on them getting better and delivering it purely concisely. Again, there are so many ways you can do these things that really play out. And so you don't always have to do like big curveball things like that, but having a fun or at least concise layout for things is nice to rely on. I'll admit I'm not the biggest expert on what good writing is. Neither am I, Richard. I am just someone who understands a little bit, very little, very minimal. The the amount to say that I can appreciate good writing when I see it. But I like a lot of shows a lot of people thought were crap, for example. Again, I have said it before. I too enjoy crap quite often. However, I am also very capable of pointing to the things I like and saying, look, you're right to think this is crap, but it's the kind of crap that I like. It's not very sane per se, but it is a thing. All right, so let's really consider the team layout here. Going forward, Dusk is the heavy hitter. Dusk is coming through and showing that he is going to carry his weight and really plow things home. Zamure is the follow-up. These two are my intended heavyweight pullers going forward in the next leg here. However, I do have some viability for Elijah, who I took the time and effort to fully evolve. And the thing here is Elijah is not as powerful as he should be ideally. Ideally, when you have a Salamence, you want it to be a heavy hitter, heavy swinger. However, I have played into the speed buff, and Elijah is actually fairly decent to do some heavy... It's a weird build, in my opinion, because it doesn't take a lot of hits super well. You can see that his defense isn't anything to necessarily write home for, but he can get in fast, he can do a heavy hit, and he has enough survivability that he can kind of play off some things fairly well, especially when you consider his Intimidate ability. So, not the best build, but I think it's one I can work off of. Now, from here, anybody else at this point is looking to be in endgame territory. So we're going into a fighting scenario. Ghost isn't unviable, but it's way under-leveled right now. But I need to get the level up for the end game. So I'm going to bring Nibbler into this run for the level gaining. And again, Garganackle would be very good in my Salty Tears, would be very useful in the idea of the stat run, but the typing is terrible. So I'm actually going to bring Richard in on this for at least more type layout that can work in this scenario, but is not ideal. Lastly, the level is low, the stats aren't very favorable, but I'm bringing Ash in because if someone is going to gain some experience here, I also want Ash to be on par with Nibbler. Nibbler is the primary fire type going forward, but I want to have Ash on hand if we need to substitute for a possible death. So this is my plan going forward to the next section, which we are going to just immediately hop over towards. On our way, we do get to make a catch. And again, I need to keep my mind open for trying to catch a more viable plant type. Zamore isn't bad. Cacturn isn't bad. I would like something on a more special attack front. 5 deaths so far. Chimchar, Baniri, yo, the Luxio is a sad one. Same thing with Kadabra. Chimchar, Luxio, and Kadabra are all tough losses. They're dying one by one. I'm not ready to lose bait. Is bait one of the names of one of your Pokemon? Either way, those are heavy losses on a Nuzlocke run. Chimchar especially. You're not in a definite position to ride a heavy loss, but what I am going to say is when you go to fight, I think it's whichever of the Team Galactic person is in that first major tower section that you raid, do not fight the Team Galactic member underprepared. That was the mistake I made in my Nuzlocke, and massively set me back. The other thing I'll say, okay, bait is your Crobat. Okay, the other thing I'll say is, don't lose bait. Bait is GOAT material in the end game. I would consider, in your shoes, hear me out, really putting in the effort to raise B-Barrel. And if you have access to an X accuracy, popping an X accuracy to help the running. Put a lot of time into raising B-Barrel for that fight, because a good solid B-Barrel build with rollout, if you consider losing B-Barrel as a viable option, and you might not, building up a rollout steamroll is a viable strategy for that build, especially if nothing else, to cause a lot of damage on the way in. It's not the best strategy, but it's the one that I relied on after taking a heavy loss there. So that would be a consideration from someone who's been in that position, going into that fight in what I thought were great terms and being shown that the game ain't gonna pull no punches for me. Alright. So where we're headed is all the way out this way. I forgot we had a catch up here too. So we have 2 catches that are able to be made use of. I'm going to head up here. First things first, and make the catch from this area. Which also means, based on my team layout, it's probably better to put Nibbler up front. And I definitely need to heal. I forgot I didn't heal up after my my training montage. Yeah, that's good enough for Gyarados. Let's pop a few more here. Although Dodge doesn't have to be at full health immediately, I certainly don't want him to be in a bad position. Also, leading into the session here, I think Dodge is the only one. Yeah, Dodge is the only one currently at the level cap, so I'm going to pull him out of the team just in case we do gain some experience. And I'm going to throw Dem in right now because, again, as we get closer and closer to the end, I need a viable plant option. And Dem is in the running for the consideration. Also, I think we can do the... Yeah, we can climb now. They climb now? They also fly now. Anyways, I'm going to climb up the... Oh, boy! Oh, what was that? Oh, Venomoth. Alright. Alright, I'm going to climb up the wall over here, putting us right smack dab in the middle of the entire forest section. And I'm going to play it by ear, what we end up catching. I need to remember, grass, 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 grass. That is my focus. Do not get distracted by other wants. Realistically, a bug wouldn't be unwanted either, but it's grass. Grass is the way. As every stoner will tell you, grass is the way. Alright, Toad Scroll is fun. They're all physical. Everything I see is physical. Whoa! Yes, 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 yes! Could not pick a better grass type. Okay. I need to be cautious about what it can hit me with. I think if I slap it with a Will-O-Wisp and start hexing it, it's way better than Torch Song. Because that could do some crazy damage really fast. Oh, and it's giving me a sunny day. Man, it kind of wants to die, doesn't it? Yo, okay, how about Mud Slap? We can start reducing the accuracy. I'm not too worried about it Giga Draining for a long time. It can Giga Drain all at once. We can potion up. We can do the HP swap all day long. Giga Drain is huge for what I want in a party lineup here, though. But if I can drop its accuracy enough to start missing heavy shots, then we're in a good spot. I could not have asked for a better one to show up. Leafeon coming in hot. To all the furries out there, do not take that the wrong way. We ain't playing the grass whistle around here. Legit is a thing that I learned to do. Not well, not cleanly. I much prefer if I'm going to use nature to make a whistle. The grass whistle is something that you can kind of change the pitch on a little bit easier. It's not easy and is a lot more of a humming. But if you take the top of an acorn, you can make a much louder whistle with it, and is a lot more viable thing to know about if you're worried about survivability in the wild. Just to, with low effort, create a way to let people know where you are without having to scream all the time. Alright, we're really taking some heavy shots at that accuracy, which is exactly what I was going for. Oh, and the Swords Dance! If we swap into physical attack options, Swords Dance is a huge one to possibly consider. I know I want it to be a special attack option, but having the physical attack as a fallback is not a bad plan either. God, it is upping this so much though that it's starting to get a little bit worrisome. Not gonna lie. So much so that I'm gonna pop a super potion just to be extra careful. Yeah. That's a little thing to consider. All right, Torch Song. We're too late in the game for that. Mud Slap is not going to do the job in time. Fingers crossed we don't crit, we don't make it faint. Leafeon, stay strong. I was actually hoping that would hit. Yes! Alright, we are in best case scenario. Out of curiosity, I mean, the Nest Ball wouldn't work, but it looks good. It looks good for the Leafeon. Right, I'm gonna go right in for the Ultra Ball, hope for the best. There we go. Alright, I know we already have Richard and Dem as namesakes, and we just managed to catch a Leafeon. But Dem was looking at being the lead grass type before. Let's see. We're gonna stick with the L for Leafeon. What's a good name? Anybody got anything? You know what? Off of the back end of that question, if you guys are unfamiliar, I am a huge proponent for right to repair, both in the tech field as well as in everything, and it is a right that we as consumers are losing fast. And a huge Leafy is here. That'd be a good one for putting in a prominent name. But there's a guy by the name of Lewis Rossman who is a huge heavy hitter, in my opinion, in the right to repair field as far as a political right. We're going to go with Lewis. Let me make sure I spell it right. I can't remember if he has an O in it or if it's just... Yes, he does have the O in it by the looks of it. Yep, Lewis Rossman. But, yeah, he also does board repair videos. He does videos talking about the right to repair. He talks about his field of being in the tech repair industry. He also does videos showing people how to do certain board repairs. Motherboards, screen replacements on mobile devices, primarily Apple products, but I think he does like Samsung stuff from here and there. Highly recommend his channel if you have any interest in any of that stuff, or even looking at if you ever need to do a repair job for someone, check out his videos and see if he has already done a full walkthrough on the process. But that's why I'm going to go with Lewis. Lois. That would be the gender swap. Dang, Leafy is here, someone I haven't heard of in a long time. I have never watched any of his content, but I'm fully aware of the name. I also remember that apparently at some point there was some degree of I don't know, some people got mad at him at some point. I don't know the story. It's not someone that I am a prominent knowledge towards. But you're not wrong, the name would have been very apropos. I'm also going to add Leafeon to the party immediately going into this, so... Dem is going to be the fallback, and hopefully between this session and next session, Leafeon and Dem can both be at high priorities, because, thinking about it, Lewis is great for the special attack option, as long as the stats hold up. Oh, and it's a special attack jump! It's like it was built for that. Love it. Love to see it. So, Leafeon is going to be great for the special attack front, and Dem as the Cacturn is going to be massive for the physical attack. So I have both opportunities for the grass builds here to really take off in positive ways. And then again, we have other viabilities for fallbacks as well. So we, quite honestly, as long as I can do the level, the grinding I need to, Tay fam, bro, collect the swords and you'll hear sounds on the way. Once you hear sounds, go to a shrine, and that's how you can beat the game. I can go through that, but I am trying to do a time crunch here, and I only do one stream a week because I work full time. So I'm going to be going through it on less than strong standing grounds, and I do think that makes things a little bit more interesting in the idea that nothing about my team is relying on real heavy hitters. I'm going on old school classic mechanics, which Pokemon has long since evolved beyond, and does make for plenty better strategies to run towards it if I wanted to put in the time to find all of those. I assume you're talking about the stakes in the ground. But welcome to the stream, Ty, or Thay fam? I'm gonna go with Thay. I think that's the pronunciation. Anyways, welcome to the stream. How has your weekend been going? And hopefully all is good. We are immediately in a fair position to rush right into the next major leg here. So now that we've got our catch in the area, this spot is blocked off and we are ready for the rush in. So as I said, Dusk, Zamore, and Elijah are the upfront runners for this. Everybody else is kind of falling back on back support if necessary. I should also make sure I have some. Let me check my items here. We're good there. I don't think there's much I can. You know what? Hold up. I do have something I can do. I believe. Oh, I want to put away the item. Whoops. Put away the held item, which should now leave the leftovers. Is it in here? There they are. It's not the best option I could probably give, but it's something to give Elijah a little bit more staying power, given the less HP pool that it has to the other two going in. Alright, let's get rid of this marker. We have... We did up here. We're done there. Alright, so yeah, this is the last leg. I'm gonna set the marker. And we're gonna fly over here and come in. We're gonna travel up north a bit and come on off this side and see what we find there to justify the catch as soon as we enter in. Should probably heal up too. Make sure we're nice and topped off. We're not beelining it to the next location. We're kind of taking a roundabout path, so I want to make sure we have the staying power to make it that way. We also popped off a lot of our more expensive items, so let's grab a few more of these. Let's go 7 more, and we'll pay with cash. Full restores and max potions are kind of the only thing I really need to keep in large supply at this point. You know, as much as it's not the prettiest of answers, when I'm taking intentionally non-ideal paths, there we go. The Super Soaker strategy is very real. And I'm still trying to not be too fast on the travel because I'm still very much hoping that we can get at least one shiny before the end of this game. I really liked having that be a little added bonus to people who stayed with me during the last run. To let that be a give out. By the way, I do have some shinies in... Oh, okay, we'll go this way. In the Sword and Shield era, if anybody ever has any want for any of those, I'll have to reload the game and see which ones I'm sitting on. But originally, my hope was to have some to carry over. But I'm not a fan of the new Pokemon. What is it? Pokemon Home or whatever. I'm not a fan of that system, and I have since abandoned that game plan. Oh, wait, hold on. Is that a gimme cool? Yes, it is. So if anybody wants any of those from that era, I have a couple that I could give away. I could even try to farm a few there. I was using the Masuda method for a while, and I could run that for a bit. See if we can come across maybe some requested ones. But that would all be of that generation. If you want it, you're gonna probably have to trade over from that generation to that generation, and then on your end you can do the Pokemon Home thing. I think one of the ones I have that I could give away, I think I had a shiny Charmander. So if anybody has any interest, I'll go through those and see what we got there. Dem, I would happily take any shinies. Dem is like that guy from the Pot Pie comics. I will gladly take a hamburger today and on Tuesday and pay you next Wednesday or whatever it was. The old running gag. The idea is that he was always trying to scam people out of hamburgers. Dem's just like, yo, you got shinies? You giving them away? I am down. But yeah, that would be a very specific thing to do on a. Maybe I'll do that if we don't get any shinies by the time we finish the Nuzlocke. Maybe I'll load that game up and give them away on that run. I'll have to see which game they were on. I think it's Sword that I have, where I have a couple of them, and I'll take a look. And what I might do is maybe take a request here and there, and see if anybody wants me to try and farm for one in my own time, and see what I can make happen. Went to a butterfly farm on Friday. Would recommend if you ever get the chance. We have a local nature preserve that we visit quite often, and in that they have a butterfly house. Very enjoyable time indeed, and as you said, I would highly recommend if you ever get the chance. It's just one of those things that is rather peaceful. Alright, there we go. Let's hop over the issues and grab the items. Earlier, I was literally like, yo, Bronzong, good. And, whoa, I realized something. I'm too far in. I am unjustifiably far in. I did not pay attention. Well, damn. I was thinking, when I was making the statement of coming in through the ice, I was getting too lost in my stories again. I do this all the time. I was thinking that if I made it up into this mountainous region, it's like, oh yeah, that's far enough in. I should know what I want by that point. And I've almost doubled my distance. So, as I have said in the past, I've lost my shiny. Or not my shiny, I've lost my catch. We were talking shinies earlier, it's in my head now. I have lost my catch opportunity for this run, for this whole area. Well, someone just came up to the door apparently. Alright guys, give me a minute, I gotta go calm my dog down. I apologize about that. Let me get the microphone closer again. So yeah. Sorry about that distraction, but I have lost my catch. So it doesn't matter what we see, unless it's a shiny, which I can catch for, giveaway. Unless it's a shiny, I've lost my shot here. Not the first time, not the third time, not the 10th time that me having a conversation has distracted me from what I intended. Well, that just means that as much as it is unintended, I have just made it that much more challenging. I have a decent pool of Pokemon that I can rely on, but man, I know how bad things can go real fast in a Nuzlocke. It is no joke that you can go from bad to worst in no time at all. Let's see what we're looking at down here. I'm going to try to avoid some fights because I'm not looking for experience per se right now. Okay, that was kind of weird. Whatever, game. But again, I don't want to bypass any opportunity to see what we can find. These X attacks are not to be underappreciated. Alright, so I think we want to climb this mountainside. Oh boy, okay, that almost went a little weird. I mean, hi ma'am, you're kind of in a weird in-between portion, but you know what? Far be it from me to... Oh, that's a Noibat. Don't need the Noibat. But yeah, far be it from me to throw shade. Okay, the Corviknight's kind of big. Just want the item and get out. Gathering items on my way is not a total waste of my time, because like I said, what I'm really looking for are like X defense options and anything to raise my stats. Now that we've got that Leafeon, anything that I could use to maybe increase its special attack would be very nice. Alright, well. Not the best scenario, but we're gonna ride it. We're gonna ride it all the way over. In fact, I can ride it over to this cliffside. Now we're probably gonna be too close. They're gonna yell at me. They yelled at me last time. So let's just go real high, and then we're gonna ride it across the other way. Yeah, I'm gonna aim for that bridge, roughabout. Let's see if they yell at me and kick me out. Man, they're so protective of this area. Wait, that's the entrance? Oh, I thought it was the other side. Well, I think I can work off of that. I just need to not be in the position of fighting everything along the way, because, again, I am at that point where experience is unwanted, because if I overlevel, I may lose Pokemon that I plan to use. Which primarily is Dusk, who is literally my entire build-up game plan. Alright, it looked like it was telling me that that over there is the gate. Is that not the gate? Because it looks different from this side. Okay, let's maybe Don't you even think about it. I'm not even in your territory. I legit thought they were going to kick me out. I was about to get so salty with this game's territory protection. Alright, our boy Clive showed up. Yep, we're getting to the end of Operation Starfall. So, Dem, with you heading back to your home territory, getting to see your puppies, out of curiosity, got any plans? Maybe go hit up a couple dog parks? We have, in our family, my grandfather and his siblings have maintained ownership of the property that they all grew up on. At this point, it's more like just a place that the family goes to spend some time. The home on the property is so old and outdated that it still doesn't even have internal plumbing. Yeah, come on, over here. I need you away from the item. Thank you. Alright, nothing looking out of the ordinary, so let's head forward. But yeah, they managed to maintain the property, and the home on the property is so old and outdated. It only has value as literally the land on it, and we have used it to start growing apple trees for some years now. Some of his siblings have, I think my grandfather was in on this too, invested in old manual systems for cider pressing. I think I've mentioned this before, that we do from time to time, some years if the hull is good on the apple trees, we even do a cider press for the family. But anyways, I have recently been taking my dog there for a fairly decent plot of land with no fencing, to go run around and get some play in, where she can have the full run of a decent plot of land. This, of course, is back in the day when, you know, people would have like 6 or 7 kids just because you had to have labor from the kids helping to keep the farm running. And I think that's basically their entire upbringing. My grandfather used to like take care of chickens and pigs and so on, and they would eat the parts of the animals that other people didn't want. One of his preferred, it's so weird, one of the things that he actually likes eating is pickled pig's feet and baked pig's ears. Why, I don't know, but these are things that he remembered growing up that he has a fondness towards. But my point being is being able to go onto that property with my dog and really just let her run loose has been very beneficial for her. Only plans right now are walking the dogs down the beach. Well, there you go. Same process, same principle. Spending some time in an enjoyable location and just making the most out of the opportunity. And then watching football, which again, you're overseas, so that's soccer. Watching soccer the next day at the pub as your team plays your mates' teams. Which is, honestly, sounds like a really enjoyable initial landing time. I remember the first time through this game, I had such an appreciation for Ares' character. And I still do. Among all of the Team Star running, including the main leader, despite her being the primary character we're meant to get to know and hear that all of their story revolves around her involvement. Despite that, she's still probably my favorite of the group. Yeah, I can handle the grunt alone, although one of these days, Clive, you really need to bring your Pokemon and, You know, we can battle a duo like we did back in the old days, you know? Remember, man, regional tag team championships. Richard just fed my dogs. One thing I don't like is how the... Oh my god, I think I see where this is going. One thing I don't like is how the one that eats the slowest at times will walk away from her food briefly, and naturally the other dogs who finished all their food will go for it. I have had... Okay, we have 2 Italian Greyhounds. If you know anything about the breed, they're very small versions of Greyhounds. Greyhounds are much larger dogs. Italian Greyhounds are very itty-bitty. They are so food-prone and food-hungry and gluttonous that I tried... There she goes again. Luckily, someone else is up there right now, so hopefully they'll calm her down in a few. If not, I'll go up there in a moment, but... Alright, I think that was it. But yeah, I actually tried to feed, no joke, my 2 Italian Greyhounds and my German Shepherd. The German Shepherd is the kind of dog that will eat a little bit. One moment. I was getting ready to get up and it sounds like she's done again. Hopefully this time for good. Anyways, adjust the microphone now that I've pushed it aside a little bit. Anyways, yeah, she's the kind of dog that'll eat a little bit, walk away, and come back later. She eats her full meal throughout the entirety of the day. Honestly, it's a better system for any dog, but... You know... Our Italian Greyhounds will eat everything put in front of them until they literally burst their stomach and die if you let them. So they have to be fed in smaller portions throughout the day. But when I tried to feed them together at the start of everything, trying to get them to be more... when we started to develop the system, you know, because the Shepherd was only recently added to the family. She would grab some food, walk away, and the Italian Greyhounds would try to eat all of her food. Now, I don't have to tell you that a German Shepherd is eating way more than 2 Italian Greyhounds together need in a given point of the day. So, and we could not get Rhea to be on the understanding that you're getting a meal, you need to eat your meal. Which is not the answer that I wanted anyways, but it's what we tried to develop after realizing full well that the Greyhounds were not going to just leave her food alone. Anyways, what I had to do is I actually had to feed them in 2 separate floors, not even 2 separate rooms. 2 separate rooms didn't work. Putting the food in one room and putting the other food in the other room did not work. The Greyhounds would just march into the other room, kick the door down, and be like, yo, where that food at? So, that didn't work. Okay, the outrage, though. Okay, the outrage, though. Yeah, definitely gonna change Pokemon and run the heal up. Never mind, that was the end of the fight. Didn't have to worry too much about the healing after the fact. But yeah, so now I have food on the first floor and food in the basement for Rhea. Because the Italian Greyhounds don't like stairs. I think it has to do with them being so small and they have those little tiny feet. The stairs are much more of an issue for them to go up and down. They don't like the stairs. German Shepherd don't care about no stairs. If you really get her going, she will jump down the whole flight if she wanted to. I'm sure that's bad for her, and I try very much to not encourage that. But she's a big dog and she does what she wants half the time. So yeah, they are fed on different floors for that reason. And it works out. Rhea can come in and eat the food as she wants. The Italian Greyhounds, the two of them, Titan and Tundra, they don't come down here trying to get to any of it. Dem, two dogs I used to have. One who ate half of his in seconds and tried to push her out of the way. And even with our Italian Greyhounds, it took us forever to break the one of that habit. We have a male and female. And the male would scarf his food down in absolute seconds. And the female, who still ate all of her food in one sitting, at least had the habit of chewing and tasting her food. Titan, on the other hand, would just inhale it and be angry that he was empty and she still had some. And he would try to force his way into her dish. We were able to break him of that habit at least. And so now they can eat in the same room. But yeah, it very same issue on that front. And yeah, it's something that you have to break them of, because then one ends up overfed and the other one underfed, and neither of those are good either. Alright, I will be right back. I'm just going to be a second here. Apologies that I keep having to walk away. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Now, I have mentioned in the past how I quite often will go through and see, I will look at the channels of people who stop in, because I like seeing if anybody out there is making content. I swear I did this for Dem before, and I don't know if I made note of it when I did it before, but you used to make videos yourself, by the looks of it. Fortnite videos is what I saw. Obviously, when I stepped away, I took a little peek. I'm curious if there's a reason you no longer do the video run. Wait, what? Yeah, we already met, I think. I assume? Do I tell you what? Okay, I guess I told you what happened. But yeah, I took a peek at some of the videos you used to do, and it seems like you were getting some pretty decent view counts for a small channel. So I'm curious what led you to stop. So, a moment of silence to pay respects to the fallen bee barrel in Dem's Nuzlocke run. I imagine you were trying to train up the bee barrel given my recommendation earlier. I'm just assuming that. And I am sorry that put you in a position to end up losing it in your Nuzlocke run as well. Walking into a house and talking to people in an RPG game is not a stupid thing, especially if you don't know the game inside and out, because then you're playing a gamble of maybe they give you an item, maybe they challenge you to a fight. If they challenge you to a fight and you win, you get big benefits of the experience bonuses as well as the monetary gain on top of it. I wouldn't say it's a stupid thing, but it is unfortunate for the loss. Especially after I hyped up the viability of one of the first major milestone fights. Oh dear. It was mainly just putting up random videos. I'm tempted to start again over summer, possibly streaming. He came into the team after Cleffa died. Yeah, so he was the normal type swap in, and it unfortunately did not go very well. I have unfortunately been on the receiving end of that, more than once, I'm sure. God, I'm still salty. The biggest instance of me doing that was how ready to ride the Tauros run all the way to victory on that gym run, and losing it to one of the gym challengers along the way. That was a heavy loss of a similar stance where I had just swapped them in to end up losing them. But yeah, if you ever end up deciding that you want to do some of those streams again, I might stop in and see what you got going on if you make the running. I have mentioned it before with you, with Richard. I believe Viv has stopped in here as well as Dodge Dusk. All of these people are content creators of their own right, all of which have, in my opinion, larger growth rate than I do. So, a little bit of jealousy there, but same thing as always. I try to support when and where I can, and I know I was arguably larger when Richard started, although the man quite literally dwarfs my channel now. But I remember going in and stopping in on some of his... Same thing with Dodge Dusk. Going in, stopping in when it was like me and maybe one or two other people would ever see his videos. I know Richard was following Dodge for a while as well. I think he still stops into some of his streams. But yeah, I try very much to push for the support of that. Obviously, if it's not for someone, I don't try to push them to do it when they don't want to, but I just think there's something oddly cathartic about the process. And I love to see people put themselves out there and stand with some pride in what they do and what they have to put out there for people. I'm sure it's an oddball thing, but I do that. Yeah, you still stop by Dodge's streams when you can. I know there's also Doctor on Twitch that we both follow. I think you probably stop in on his streams more than I do, but I do from time to time. Alright, we got the main fights here. I think we have two solid combatants, but then Elijah's kind of a curveball. Especially if we fight something that might have some fairy typing. Alright, realistically we're not doing too bad here. Alright, let's head right. I've got to keep an eye on the health of these Pokemon as well. Because once we go in, like, we go in hard. Yeah, I'm gonna run right past these crab brawlers or whatever they're evolved into. What are they, like Crabama Snow something? Crabominable. There we go. That's a better Tropius fight. Let's see how that works out. All right, you know what? Maybe I don't need to be as cautious as I was thinking I need to be. Let's just let's ride in, all in, balls out, and see what happens. Seeing how that played out, I'm thinking I might be unnecessarily cautious. Realistically, the levels are not beyond the pale of consideration. Yeah, see, Tropius took a shot there. I was probably right to run past him the first time. We have a heal over here. I'm gonna pop this heal. There we go. And now we're in a solid point to keep going forward. We're well on track. We only need to take out 4 more. Can I? Nope, I gotta run on foot. Can't pull out the cycle. Yeah, the Crabominable is not the ideal fight here. Let's go for that. And Tropius versus Metachan. That's a fair one to end on. We'll take that win. See, almost all my usernames have YT or TTV on them, so still good to get old messages about your channel. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I usually stop by his streams at least for a bit. Yeah, with Doctor, he tends to stream at odd hours for me, so it's oftentimes harder for me to stop in. Usually if I'm staying up late or if I'm battling insomnia and not currently involved in another task, I'll see that he ends up going live and I try to stop in. He went for a very late run last night and I was able to stop in at the tail end of it. I had when I got the notification that he had gone live, I had just gone out to get some exercise in. And when I came back, I did some cleaning and remembered that he went live, and I figured, well, now that I'm all the way involved in the pain of my arms, I was just going to sit back, lie down, and watch his stream for a bit, because I couldn't use my body for much else at that point. I still like getting the occasional comments on some of my old videos. A couple of them, for whatever reason, the algorithm keeps shoving them at people, and I don't know why. The series is long since dead. The YouTube algorithm still shoves the couple of God, what was it? The Elder Scrolls videos that I did for back when it released on the Nintendo Switch. And for whatever reason, it still pushes those out to people. By the way, I've actually thought about doing some other older games. Games that would either be heavily loved by me or ones that I think would be fun to dive back into. Alright, we're going to go to a Passimian. I'm going to go to Elijah. I'm going to heal Dusk for the end game, and we're going to see if Elijah can take a hit. If Elijah's good to take a hit and keep going, even if it's like 2 hits and then a heal, that's a good cycle to be in for build-up and setup. So let's go all in on the Hyper Potion here. I still get recommended your Tarantula videos at me. And you've watched them already. We legitimately love our tarantulas. A lot of people get real spooky about big spoder boys. I love the big spoder boys. Alright, let's see here. Out of curiosity, power 80, power 90. Turn in between to build up. Higher accuracy. Let's throw a Zen headbutt and see what happens. Yeah, that's rough. Knocking our speed down is not fun. Alright, now we're going to pop a heal again. Again, being 2 turns before the need to heal is much better than being in the direct cycle. But yeah, I don't know why YouTube pushes those ones specifically so heavy, especially given their age. I would love it if YouTube would recommend more, you know, current and updated videos, because I think they are far more representative of what I try to do on this channel these days. Even the more recent videos that I upload are more in line with the theme and viability I go for these days. Because all of those videos came from an era that, unfortunately, on the content creation side of things, is no longer the direction things are at. But, you know, I don't ride in control of the algorithm. Alright. This could be dumb, but we have the opportunity to play it off. It's throwing rocks out. I think we can take this hit with Dusk and see where it puts us at. I'm trying to set myself better up for when the Pokemon swaps over. I need to be careful of the vehicle running in. Right, that's actually pretty decent. We'll take this. Yeah, go for the Seed Bomb. It's gonna hurt like hell. It hurt a lot more than I thought it would, and now we're in a bad spot again. Oh boy! I got recommended an old video of yours a while back. I can't remember exactly what it was, but both you and your brother were in it. Yes, again, back in the day, the channel was to be my brother and I, and things had happened. He still is totally fine with being on videos when he can, but it's just so rare, and it's usually needing to be... Alright, we're going to go with Zamore and see where this goes. And then I need to look at my Pokemon lineup carefully. Okay, Lucario is not a bad one to trade in on here. Fighting type's nothing to fear. Steel type, I don't think gets any major advantages. However, Lucario has a lot of buffing opportunity. Alright. We have no good stall plan. Oof. Okay. So I'm going to go for Broke and Hyper Potion and Hyper Potion. And hopefully, if Lucario buffs this turn, I can't let it buff long term. Alright, so we're good. We're in a good spot. I was worried it was going to be like, yo, watch these swords dances or something. Alright. Another Hyper Potion, and I need to grab a drink. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I've even considered trying to reach out to other small channels and see if they'd be okay with doing crossover content. But, you know, plans A, reality B. Alright, Lucario is usually better physically defensive, and Zamore is arguably in between, so the special for Air Slash is not that bad. And I think Dragon Pulse has a chance to paralyze? I can't remember. But I need to keep Zamore in a good spot to take some hits here. Because we are unfortunately not in a good swap-in opportunity until we see what the next Pokemon is. But again, we're in that safe zone of 2 shots and then healing. But realistically, like, our levels for coming in here, this is one of the more balanced ones we've really been a part of. So this is going about the ass whooping that I would hope in a good position on this. We're not walking away with easy wins, but we're also not taking heavy, sad losses either. Fingers crossed. Going in for one more shot of that. Alright, so what is the next Pokemon, and what is our position here? Annihilate. I can't remember if that's... I think that's Ghost. I think that's Fighting Ghost. Okay. No one is an ideal swap-in. My question here is, which one is the viable loss? If I have to lose someone, I think Zamore is the one that I'm willing to lose. Dusk cannot take many hits, but I love that he can hit so hard when he does. So if I lose someone, Zamore is a willing loss. Elijah is just too good of a Pokemon roundout that I want to see that go a little farther. So we're going to stick with Zamore for a bit and pop a heal as soon as they swap in. But yeah, Annihilate is no joke. And the Ice Punch! That's quadruple damage! Okay, but hold on. What level is it? 56. Okay. It's possibly gonna do Ice Punch again. That's not a bad spot to throw Dusk in. Dusk can take an Ice Punch. I'm confident on it. And if it can go, if Dusk can come in, swing really hard with the Psycho Cut, we're going to Terrastalize. We're gonna aim for the Psycho Cut. We're gonna get all of the attack bonuses. The goal is one and done. Right, we can take that. Terrastalize, extra damage, all in on the Psycho Cut, fingers crossed. Worst part here is if Dusk goes down, we lose our Terrastalization in this fight for the last run. So this is possibly very stupid. Rage Fist. I think that's gonna hurt. I think fighting him hurts pretty bad. Pretty bad. Oh, this is not good. Oh, very not good. Okay, hear me out. Again, so many crossed fingers. I know they have a shot that is going to be very effective here. But if we can take the win here, knock this Annihilate out, it's sticking to the Rage Fist, we can eat a second one. I think we can eat a second one. It's going to be stronger. Oh, man. Do I fly or do I Zen headbutt? It all relies on whether or not we can take a shot here even. I think we fly. Oh, and Elijah's faster! We heal a little bit. We slap it with the fly and it goes down. Nice. Okay. Okay, my hands were getting a little sweaty at how dicey that was getting. You know I don't like my non-100 accuracy. You know I don't trust it. Oh, hold up. I missed a comment from Dem. Only thing I don't like is snakes. After mine bit me, whenever my brother took it out of its tank, I'd almost be unable to move. Out of curiosity, Dem, was it a venomous snake or just an angry bitey boy? Alright, we are not out of the woods yet. Gonna heal up here. My brother has been bit by quite a number of snakes. He used to work for one of the major snake breeders in the nation. Okay, that's rough, but we can take that. So right now, my strategy is healing everybody up and setting up for a follow-up to basically what we had to do to deal with the Annihilate. Okay, it was just a basic corn snake. The corn snake was my brother's first, I think his first pet in general. If nothing else, it was his first exotic pet. Which, by the way, is an animal that is still alive in our care. So, really cool about that. But, the snake thing, man, it still hurts. Alright, and then we gotta heal Elijah up again after all of that. We have several snakes. I don't remember if we did a lot of videos on them. I think we did a couple. And I understand, you know, I'm not going to fault anyone for being afraid of animals for certain things. My brother got attacked by a dog when he was younger. And I mean attacked, full-blown attack. Won a lawsuit over all of that. Like, it was that bad from the neighbors. Was not a pretty scenario, and for a while he also had issues with dogs. You can understand how that caused for some issues in the family, considering everybody else is big dog lovers. Let's go for the fly. As much as it lowers its speed, it keeps boosting it, and that attack increase is terrifying. Right now, I've just got to prolong and hurt it as much as I can. Yep. Not particularly pretty outcomes here. God, this could be dumb. No, Elijah sticks in. Either he makes it or he doesn't. I don't know if this opinion is unpopular, but I think snakes are adorable. I completely agree, Richard, but a lot of people tend to have reptile issues in general. Oftentimes, not just snakes. I've run into people who are afraid of lizards and so on. I don't know what it is, but reptiles just kind of do it for people. Some people are more specific. Some people clearly being more just snakes. But I'm going to keep going with the fly strategy. It's not particularly good. It ain't particularly good. but it's what I got! Oh, this is bad. This is real bad. Guys, this is bad. I don't know if you know, but it'd be bad. Yeah, we are not outspeeding it. Elijah goes down. God. And we are not in good speed positions. We're gonna try Dusk. Anyways, I'm gonna read the comments while I process what's happening, because we are not in a good spot. But I'd never go near one that I don't know if it's venomous or not. My brother has wanted to handle venomous snakes for a while. He actually knows a couple of people who care for a few. We have owned a venomous snake, but we were not long-term care for it. And never had any issues with it on our end. I'm just walking down Route 215 enjoying life till a battle, and this guy pulls out a Monferno, and a Gyarados, and Kadabra! Oh! Damn, you are unfortunately in a bad spot right now. Your team layout is incredibly limited. You are gonna have to power level and deal with issues from an over-level standpoint for a short while here. Please. Please land and crit. God! I think I might OTK here. I think I might not OTK. I might just team die. We might lose everyone. This is the bad situation I was trying to avoid. And if this happens, it's going to be the end of the stream for a while because I need to power level. Oh, yes. Look, at this point, I'm taking any shot we can. Alright, serious opportunity here. Dem, Richard, what are the chances it tries to go for a stat buff? Its cycle so far has been lose speed, gain speed and attack. Lose speed, gain speed and attack. It just lost speed. Is it gonna maintain that cycle? Do I roll the dice? Do I try to heal, or do I roll the dice and swing heavy? I literally don't know what to do here. Rolling the dice works sometimes, and here's the thing, if it does hit us, it loses speed again, and I can try to swap into something to outspeed it. Let me take a look at what we have here. So, if it loses speed again, Ash might be able to come in and outspeed it. It's low enough in its health that might be a big factor. However, if it tries to stat buff, it doesn't matter, we take the win. I almost want to try leveling up without healing. Half my team was red. Hard call. Not sure what I would do. Yeah, that's the thing. I am not in a good spot. We're gonna air slash it. Oh! Yes! Outsped it! Oh my god! How? I don't know. I don't care. Fuck you! Oh! Oh! Airy, I feel that. Airy, I feel that. Richard, I'd think roll the dice. Well, Richard, you chose correctly. Gotta take chances sometimes, although I'm crossing my fingers. That whole fight felt like constantly me saying, cross our fingers, cross our fingers, cross our fingers. Oh, man. You definitely chose the right answer, but it was... Oh, boy. That felt like rolling some dice I don't want to see play again. Because its attack was reaching such insurmountable points where the only hope was outspeeding it. And it did just take a speed loss. I didn't think we were faster than it, but that does tell me if it took if it took another speed loss, anything I have would have outsped it, which would not have been a team wipe like I feared. But it would have been another body. And we just lost 2 bodies. One of which was a very important vital body, and the other one was one that I really didn't want to lose. And the one that made it, the one that survived, was the one that I said was the acceptable loss. So... that's a thing. However, Zamure has now shown that he's wanting to be in it for the long run. Literally had my fingers crossed open for the best. And these moments, man, this is why you do Nuzlocks. So that you can clench your butt cheeks. It's like you're trying to form a diamond between them. Cross your fingers and hope for the best. And when you take the loss, man, the losses hurt. But winning out on that, what I perceived as a dice roll myself, taking that win opportunity. Also, you know, gotta respect that Tropius did what it did well. Held on, and much like the giraffes of the modern era, beat the ever-living shit out of that car with its neck. I mean, it wasn't literally its neck, but headcanon. Man, that was dicey. I knew we were riding the high for too long. We were riding too much good news. I knew it was bound to happen, and I knew when it did, it was going to take some heavy hits. I didn't think it would be factored in with me staring the possibility of a massive, like, 6 Pokemon loss in the face, because God, we were in very dangerous territory on that. So, although the overall loss wasn't massive, man, the fear was high. Whew. getting more TMs is nice. We're in an area where I can farm some items and see about what TMs I need to get for the end game territory. Yep, we're having the big reveal about Team Star and Cassiopeia's involvement in everything. So, the goal for the next stream is going to be to have an entire team layout with a couple of backups for swapping out as needed. I was actually looking at possibly throwing in our new grass type in it, just so that we could bypass the physical defense that it was raising so much. Because coming in and using Giga Drain would at least be a special attack, and we could hit it through the defense stat that it wasn't boosting so heavily. Man, I had so many thoughts running through my head, I didn't know which way any of it was going to go. Either way, we've got to lay some bodies to rest. Dusk, you did good in the run. Elijah, very short-lived, but you came in for some big hits. Oh, I can take the Heartstone here, too. Let me just rob the graves of my own Pokemon here for a moment. I am going to take the Miracle Seed, because we're going to give that to Lewis. But now we look at the endgame team. God, I'm shocked Lewis didn't have to come in, and that Zamore... Oh man, that dice roll was not fun. Alright. So here's what we're looking at for a team layout for all of the end game going forward. Now, we have some fallback opportunity here, and that is going to be this bottom run of Pokemon. Wait, how do I... There we go. So this bottom run of Pokemon are going to be the considerations for follow-ups. These two possibly swapping out. If I can't evolve Rocky, Rocky's not valid for the end game. But if we can, we've got something to work with here. Again, I think we need to swap out Betrayal with Rhea as fallback options. Actually, I'm going to swap these around and have Rhea be the fallback. And again, bring in the tankiness. And actually, that for the swap out, if I can get Dem up to the levels that I need. So, here's what we're looking at for our fallback options. And actually, I'm going to put Free Willy first, and then Quinn as the final for the Ice type. This is our main run. This is our game plan. This is the team with some item swapping that I'm going to do. Lewis is going to get the Miracle Seed. I know that for certain. And I'm going to have to give my tiers the leftovers again. That is such a viable thing. It works so well. I'm going to have to figure out if there's a way for me to give anything to give Richard more power. And yeah, it's just a matter of building the team out. I would love a better electric move than Discharge. Thunderbolt would be ideal. If I can make that happen, great. If I can't, I'm up shit creek without a paddle on that one. We'll have to ride the Discharge. But I genuinely think once everybody gets up to the lower to mid 60s, this is a solid team layout going forward. And then I have to figure out what order I'm tackling the end game fights in. We have to deal with our three friends. Nemona's the only one I can remember the name on, but you know who I'm talking about. We have to deal with our three friends. The Elite Four is going to be the big gauntlet run that I am fearing. The fear does not come from any individual fight. It comes from the full build up to it, and Nimona afterwards. Nimona is no joke, and we cannot take her lightly because she comes swinging hot. But that's what we're going to be dealing with in the next stream, which, barring any massive losses and the assumption that I can get everybody up to the level that I want, I'm going to try and tackle in one fell swoop. It's going to be a long one. We have 3 major arcs to wrap up. We will then have the end game path to deal with and all that it entails. So it's set to be a fairly lengthy stream in comparison to what I normally do. Anyways, so that's the plan. Thank you so much, everybody, for stopping in. Dem, Richard, great to hear from you as always. Glad to hear that things are going as fairly well as could be. Richard, I hope you're feeling better than you were in the last time, which you said you were starting to feel better, but hopefully it keeps getting... Hopefully you're all better completely. Dem, same thing. Hopefully you can deal with that little whatever's nipping at you from last week. And anyways, guys, thank you so much. See you next time. Hopefully you have a great week. Bye. Glad to hear that you're feeling better, Richard.